hit the link at the bottom of the screen to check out the entire show. It's available exclusively on odds.com. Let's move to 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We have BYU Cougars, 9-2, 0-0 in the WCC at Gonzaga Bulldogs, 10-0, 1-0 in the WCC. McCarthey Athletic Center in Spokane, Washington. What a tough spot BYU finds himself in. 17.5-point dogs, a total of 162.5. Gonzaga was scheduled to play West Coast Conference rival Santa Clara Thursday afternoon. The game was postponed because of positive COVID tests in the Santa Clara program. Instead, undefeated Gonzaga, the toast of college basketball, will face BYU at 8:30 Eastern. BYU was originally supposed to play against Pacific. That was postponed due to positive cases in the Pacific program. And this is a very tough matchup in their first game back from the Christmas break, man. I don't know. This is optional misery that they have chosen here. After losing at home to Boise State 74-70 as 3.5-point favorites, they reeled off 4 wins in a row over Utah, then number 18 San Diego State, Texas Southern, and on December 23rd, their last game that they played before the break, 87-79 at home over Weber State. They hit 47.8% from the field. They get nice distribution with 18.5 assists per game. They're led by 6'2 senior guard Alex Barcelo, who is averaging 16.9 points, 4.6 boards, 4.8 assists per game. And they have 7'3", 250-pound Dutch center Purdue transfer Matt Harms, who is averaging 11 points and 4 boards a game. I tell you what, if I could be in that 7'3", 250-pound body, I would not be only averaging 4 rebounds a game. Gonzaga is the most dominant team in college basketball. They average 95.1 points per game. They outscore their opponents by an average of 22.7 points per game. They hit 55.4% from the field. They get 20.7 assists per game. Corey Kispert averaging 21.6, 4.5 boards. Drew Timme averaging 18.4 points, 7.3 boards, are an extremely difficult front court duo. Now you have guard Jalen Suggs, who's stepped up in an enormous way. He's now moved up on the most important award lists in the country. 13.9 points, 5.5 rebounds, 5.4 assists. He was added to the Naismith list this week. He's directing the show. This is a very, very complete basketball team, Max. 17.5-point favorites. Is it too much?
Jim, we love to talk about teams. That's how we break down games. But the reality is we're betting the numbers. And in this game, you know what it's going to be. The number says BYU. The bottom line is, when you look at this BYU team, let's look past Matt Arms, the Purdue, let's call him traitor. All right? Yeah. Hi, I'm Matt Arms. I can't play for Coach Painter anymore, so I'm going to be a beta, and I'm going to head over to Utah. Okay, so don't get me started on Matt Arms. The reason why he averages 4 rebounds is because he's soft and he's weak. He's tall. He's good for reaching up to the top shelf and getting you something. Aside from that, I don't see what his use is. Now that I'm done ranting about Matt Arms, I'll move on to the game. When you look at this BYU team, what they do well is they play defense. They are a very good defensive team. They do a good job of guarding on ball, and that's guys like Alex Barcelo, and that's Brandon Everett. With Brandon Everett, you have a good floor general who came to BYU for games like this. Big games, nationally televised games. Both these teams have very good ball movement, so there really is an advantage there. It's who can take the other team out of rhythm for the longest and the most often in this game is going to win. When you look at BYU, what they have to do and focus on is not being the victim on the offensive glass versus Gonzaga. We've seen Gonzaga thrive on getting these offensive rebounds, usually with Anton Watson or Drew Timme grabbing them and then going up for some sort of kind of scoring play. When I think about the matchups that BYU is going to have to throw at Gonzaga's front court, they do have the size. I don't know if they have the athleticism. This could be another mismatch down low like the USC front court was for them. However, I do think that with Gonzaga, this is a team that we're used to seeing them being a lot more prolific from the three. The fact is, though, the only one who you got to really stop and chase off the three-point line is Corey Kispert. Jalen Suggs and Andrew Nembhard are kick and drive type guys. They'll either go to the bucket themselves or they'll pass it out once they get into the paint. And there really just isn't another three-point scoring weapon. I think that when you look at Gonzaga, where they do their work is inside. They go to the bucket with everybody. Everybody goes to the bucket. They score 35 or so 2-point field goal makes the game. That's, I don't know, I think that's like 5 or 6 more than BYU makes. So that's a big difference there. I think that's going to come down to defense in this game, and I think that that's where BYU is going to step up. BYU does not want this game at a 4 point per minute pace. That is a losing effort, because what we know from this matchup, from watching it year to year, is BYU, they were able to win last year at home. Now they're not at home. They're going on the road. They're going to the Kennel. The Kennel's not going to have people, or not a lot of people. However, you've seen that Gonzaga has dominated there, winning by 20 plus. So when you look at the ATS margins, this is another spot where if you don't agree with BYU, then sell some points on Gonzaga, because the last, 5 games that they've played, Gonzaga has not only beat them on the spread, but beat them on the spread by 10-plus points in 5 out of those 6 games. I'm going against that trend. I think that this BYU team against a less prolific three-point shooting Gonzaga team is going to be the difference. They're not going to be able to run out guys that are 8th or 9th on the bench like Dom Harris or Julian Strother in this lineup. I think that BYU is game to go, and if Alex Barcelo continues his hot shooting, which is like 60% from the three-point line right now after a handful of games, BYU staying in this number. Jim, I'll say this, though. I like the first half better. We're going to get a good impression of what this team is. However, I will not make an official play, because one of my go-tos all season has been Gonzaga first half team total over, and Gonzaga race to 45 and race to 50. So for the show, Jim, let's go with BYU. Let's take them full game, and let's hope that the Mormons aren't thinking about getting laid and they're thinking about beating the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Plus 17.5 at minus 110. 15 days off your Cougars have had, and now they face the number 1 team in the country. Plus 17.5 at minus 110, available at FanDuel. I believe that was a 17 at Circa, and you got the extra half point at both Bet365 and FanDuel. That is a big West Coast Conference game tonight, Thursday, January 7th.